Hello everyone, it's William here at Allegory Gallery, and I have with me our teacher, Jen, who many of you probably don't see very often. So we wanted to introduce you a little bit. This is Jen Tuschong. She does all of our in-store classes for the most part, and she does some tutorials with us sometimes. You may have seen those. We did a few, maybe 2 years ago now?
Yeah, it was
2 or 3
COVID.
years ago? Yeah, pre-COVID, I think. And so we're going to start doing some more of those, I think, I hope, as long as all goes well. So you're going to see more of Jen, but I wanted to just do a quick introduction here, and I'm going to let Jen get to it. So let's take a look at what you're looking at here.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for that delightful introduction, William.
You're welcome.
We are going to do some fabulous little herringbone earrings with some of the Raven's Journey check glass we got in. It's not a beginner project, but I'm going to do my best to simplify things so that you can pick up on it. So this is what they look like. Are we on? Can we see them?
You gotta go a little higher.
A little higher. Here we go.
I think that's it.
These ones here, I don't know, your right, my left, my right, your left, are patinaed. And these ones are brand new, fresh, hot off the press, bare copper. There we go. You're doing it.
See? It's about level on this. Show them on here. There we can see it. Except they're upside down.
Upside down.
There we go. There we go. Nice.
I like to think of these as my own design because I have not seen them anywhere else before, although herringbone is not my design, just the way that I chose to use it. Alrighty, the beads we're going to use are check glass coins. They're about 12 millimeters. These flowers here are probably about, what, 14, 16. So, I mean, there's options. Things just take on a different look. Alrighty, so I have already pre-cut our copper wire. This is 17 inches times 2 of the 20 gauge copper wire. For our ear wires, I have 1.5 inches of the copper wire, and then for our little doohickeys, we're going to need 4 of their infinity links we're going to be making. These right here. So I actually need to cut 2 more of those. We'll do that on film. And then I have done the jump rings already. These are approximately 3 or 4 millimeter. Not entirely sure. But I have used number 2 on this here bail making tool. So without further ado, let's cut 2 more 2-inch pieces for the infinity links. So you're going to want to smooth out your wire a little bit, warm it up, get her nice and straight. And cut that. We're going to move that wire out of the way because we don't need that spool anymore. Alrighty, so now we have 4 2-inch pieces of the copper wire for our infinity links. First thing we're going to do is we are going to find 2 inches from the end of your 17-inch copper wire. We're going to do approximately 2 inches there. We're going to make a 90-degree bend. We're going to do that twice. All right, so we have 2 90-degree bends in our 17-inch pieces of wire. We're going to use this first step on our tool. This is a multi-tier bail maker, but it can be used for jump rings, uniform loops. So what I'm doing is I'm going over that small one until I can't go anymore, and I've rotated my tool to give clearance to come all the way back around until it's crossed, and you have basically an eye pin right there. I'm using my bent nose pliers. You can also use needle nose, flat nose, just to hold that one. And now we're going to take that end. I call this the starting position. Can you see that?
Yep.
Alrighty. So we only grab onto that by the end. We never grab it here because we're going to mar up our wire. That's our working wire. So now I'm going down and letting go, grabbing that end, bringing it back up. So there's one full coil. Every time I come down, I let go with my tool and I bring it right back up to that starting position. If you notice your coils are not laying flat with one another, adjust it before you go on. Bringing it around again. I kind of give it a little tug, not a lot, just a little tug to keep that tension. And bringing it back up and letting go. I'm going to make about 8 to 10 coils. We got a little wonky there. Notice my left hand doesn't move at all. My left hand's staying still. Bear with me, y'all. I am nearsighted and working far away from my glasses. My doctor has threatened bifocals this year. I'm not ready for those. This coil doesn't have to be perfect, but some of us insist on perfection. So go ahead and make it perfect if you're one of those people. Alrighty, so I've reached the end. I'm going to tuck in that last little bit. Straighten it out. Let's see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alrighty. I'm going to cut that last little teeny tiny bit off. Always cover that wire so it doesn't fly off and hit somebody. And if it falls in the carpet and you step on it in bare feet, you're going to get that in between your toes. It's going to hurt. No one's going to be happy. Alrighty. So here we have a slightly wonky coiled beginning. Right, there's one. I always like to do earrings as close to twins as possible, but they should be sisters. I mean, really. All right, so once again, sticking this veil maker, the small part on top, because that's the size that we want to make the loop. Using my thumb to go up and over, stopping when I come to that back side. I'm rotating my tool just a little bit and bringing the wire the rest of the way around until it crosses. We have that eye. Using my bent nose pliers, I'm just going to hold that eye. We're in the starting position. Grabbing the end. Grabbing the rest of the copper with me. Okay, that first coil is really going to set the stage for the rest of them. So as long as you get that one straight, the rest of them should follow suit. Alrighty, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Complete that one. Hold that wire. And tuck in that end. Straighten it up. And because I'm me, I'm going to make sure this one's straight too. Alrighty, so now we have 2 coiled ends. We're ready to drop our beads on. We should do that on camera. You can use any beads you want really for a herringbone. I just like the way that the coins look. Alrighty, so now that we have that on, we're ready to start wrapping. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring it around the bead and we're going to rotate it and go around the bead and work our way up until we have this interesting herringbone fishbone looking design. Alrighty, so with that eye facing forward, or so that you can look into it, basically. We don't want it on the side. We don't want it like this. We want to be looking right at that. Kind of warm your wire up a little bit. Now we're going to go around that bead and try to stay on the upper edge of it. And I'm coming up over these coils. Now I'm going to wrap around it. Bring it around the front. Going around the other side. And when you come around again, try to keep a little bit of space in between your wires so that they don't get lost behind one another. That can be a little bit difficult when you're just beginning. Rotate it again. Try to keep a loose enough tension so that those don't get lost behind one another. Right? Going up and around those coils one more time. If some of your wire is bent, don't worry, you can adjust it after you have finished the piece. Bringing that around again. Warming up some more wire. And you're going to do this until you come to the top of that coil that you made where the eye is. This will be our last one. A little bit tighter. So I'm kind of pinching these to keep them flat. All right, we have reached the top. So I'm going to straighten that eye out just a little bit. I'm going around one last time until I come to the front. I'm going to cut off that excess wire. I'm just going to tuck it in. One of the great things about boho is it does not have to be perfect. Some parts can be wonky. You can leave a real organic look to it, or you can straighten it out and polish it up. I like somewhere in between. So I'm just kind of working those wires until they're flat and laying right next to one another. I'm being real gentle with the tools because I don't want to mar up my wire. This is going to come with practice. Start off with some junky wire, some cheap aluminum wire instead of going with the expensive stuff right off the bat if you're just beginning. Just kind of work it until you're happy with the shape. So there's one. We're going to do that again. So once again, we are looking through the eye, not on the side of it. Warm up my wire a little bit. This makes it easier to work with. I'm going to go around, keeping it pretty tight and up towards the top of that bead till I come to the coils. I'm going to hold that with my left hand, rotate the whole piece till I've come around to the front of that coil again. I'm going to go around the other side. This is the part where I'm going to grab onto that as I'm turning to keep it side by side with the last coil I went around the bead with. Okay, I don't want that to go behind that wire. I want to keep it side by side. So I'm going to go around again. You don't want to make that tension too tight. Going around again. Keeping it side by side. Around again. Adjust as you go. It's easier to adjust as you go. Around one more time. Keeping that wire warm. Going around. And our final pass. If it seems like you're running out of room, give those coils in the back just a little squeeze so you can get enough room to bring that wire around. Squeeze it in there. Give it a little snip. Okay, and tuck that in there so you don't have any edges that are gonna catch on your clothes, your hair, your skin. Sometimes you need to get in there with a smaller set of pliers. Straighten your eye out. Now adjust it until you got that shape the way you want it. Sometimes, as much as we try, our earrings will come out as sisters, not twins. But as long as they're somewhere around the same shape, you're doing okay. Again, with practice, You're going to find that it's going to get more uniform and your earrings will become twins. But boho is not perfect again, so there you go. So we've done the difficult part. Now we're going to do the easy part. We're going to make the infinity links and we're going to put it all together. Right, so let's take one at a time. I'm using the first smallest. I'm going to the very end of that wire. I don't want to feel it at all. Curling it around. I'm rotating my tool, not the wire. Okay, so I have an eye pin. Squeeze that shut until you don't see the opening. And now I'm going to use the third size on my wheel maker. Using my finger to bring that all the way around. And I want this to cover up where that first loop ends. I want them to line up exactly over one another. Now I'm going to use my flush cutters and get in that little crook. You always cut with the flat part of those flush cutters against your work so you make sure that you don't have that little divot that it tends to make. Ready? Get rid of the extra. Close that loop up. Make sure that those two ends line up as much as possible. And we have our first infinity link. It's a figure 8 with one bigger side than the other. And we're going to do that 4 more times. So, and around that first loop, rotating my tool. Going around the third. Rotating the tool until those two wires cover up each other. So we know that they're lined up. Flush cutter against your work. Cut the excess off. Just close them up. There's 2. I'm going to go a little bit faster with these ones. So you want the 2 cut ends pointing at one another. there is 4. We're not done with those. We're going to go back to those. We're going to hammer them out. It's going to be fun. It's going to be great. You make some noise. Let's move on to our ear wires right now. What? We don't have to buy ear wires? It's awesome. Make our own? Okay. So one more time, we're going to go on that small first. Don't want to feel those wires at all. That's how we know we're going to make a complete circle. And this, you will get twins. Or at least you're supposed to. If you work them together. But you know what? Because I'm working out of my normal workspace, so I can show you all how to do it. So imagine, if you will, that both of those turned out the same. Now I'm going to use this 5th one right here because I don't want a giant one. But if you like a bigger ear wire, then feel free to use number 6 on there. I'm going to do this. All right. Okay, so you're going to line up those 2 eyes on that bigger one. And you're going to go around until you come to the back of those. Then you're going to take your flat nose and you're just going to create just a tiny little bend. And then you're going to cut off that excess wire. Look at that. We have 2 ear wires that are pretty much twins. All right. I promised we're going to make some noise, right? So we're going to use our dapping blocks. Some people use metal ones. I like these plastic ones. They don't mar up your stuff quite as much. Let's hope the camera doesn't wiggle too much. So I'm going to place those on there flat. And I'm just going to pound them a little bit. You don't have to make them super flat. You're just tempering that wire so that they're a little bit harder. We're going to do the same thing with our infinity links. Cover them up. There we go. If you want to do a little extra, flip them. There we go. Sometimes they get a little out of shape. You might have to put those 2 ends back together. It looks like we came out pretty darn good here. Alrighty, so we're going to double the infinity link on each earring. But we're going to do this fun little thing. Where'd it go? This one did get out a little bit. Okay, we are going to turn those upside down. So we have little end under the big end, little end over that big end. Do the same thing on that one. We're going to open up our ear wire. Always open that to the side. Never open it like a Pac-Man mouth, because it will not go round again. Alrighty, so starting with the little loop, feed that on first, and then the big loop. And close her up. Just a little twist right back to the side. So you're looking at that. Do that again. Open it to the side. Little loop first, then the big loop, and close her up. Now we're going to take our jump rings. Also, we open those to the side. We never open jump rings like Pac-Man mouths. We're going to go through the small end if we open them up enough. Just a little twist to the side. And we're going through the little loop and then the big loop. And then one of my earrings. And I'm going to close that up. When I close my jump rings, I hold my left hand steady and I kind of give it a little wiggle as I'm closing it. That helps to temper it just a little bit more, make it a little bit harder and less likely to get pulled open. You're going to close that jump ring up. All right. We're going to put another jump ring on that same earring because I like the look that 2 jump rings gives me. So, one more time, I'm going through the small end, capturing the bigger end, and then going through the back side of that herringbone. I'm going to do that again because I lost it. Through the small, big, through the back. Make sure you don't capture that jump ring you put on first. Okay, and then close her up. So there is one earring. Turn them around. Okay. So there's one earring. And our final steps of the second earring. Go through the little loop, the big loop, go through the back side of your herringbone bead, and close it up. Also, when you use 2 jump rings, it's extra protection to keep your beads in place. Because if one jump ring ends up opening, if you get it snagged on your sweater or in your hair, you have a second jump ring to back it up. keep it from falling off. Okay, here's our final jump ring. Through the small, through the big, through the back. Close her up. And there is our second earring. Well done. Not quite twins, but they are sisters and close enough. And it's boho. Not perfect. It's organic. It's lovely. Everyone's going to compliment them. I hope you had fun watching this tutorial. I hope it made sense to you. And thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.